Hello, everybody. Josh Neighbors here, Locked On Nationals podcast. Today, it is the 20th of May, 2022. And on today's show, we have a series to preview. The Nationals have a 3-game set with the Milwaukee Brewers that is about to begin this weekend. So Friday through Sunday, we'll preview that. We'll also talk about an article that was written in the Washington Post from Barry Savoga about the Nationals. And it's just about them being hard to watch right now. Talk about that article, and also want to mention Cesar Hernandez's quality of play recently. So, interesting show coming up today. Hope you all enjoy.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, Josh Neighbors here, Nationals podcast, May 20th, 2022. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at @LO_Nationals. You guys can find the show or find me personally, at Josh Neighbors _. You can find the show wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube as well. So there was an article that was written in the Washington Post by Barry Savoga about really just how bad the Nationals have been. It's titled "The Nationals Bad. They're Hard to Watch." And it was written yesterday, came out yesterday afternoon. And look, I know a lot of you all have watched the Nationals this year. I have watched them very closely, obviously, doing this show. And there was a lot of times where you just want to turn it off, even in the episode earlier this week. I said I had. And this article is it's worth going and checking out. I'm sure a lot of you who are Nats fans are subscribers the Washington Post, just because, there's a lot of good Nats stuff there, or whatever you're into news, whatever else. It's obviously a great publication. This article points out a lot of the stuff that we've been saying, but just there's a couple things I wanted to note that, this team is making mistakes on a really impressive clip. They led the league in errors at 32, I think, going into their Wednesday game. So the Nationals, and we played Thursday, the day off. The Nationals, they said mercifully a day off too. The Nationals led the majors with 32 errors. They were tied for last in the league in fielding percentage at .977. Only 4 teams were worse in the more advanced metrics of defensive runs saved, where the Nationals are -8 in that category. But it's not like it's just something where we're seeing this only in the field. We're seeing bad base running too. Let's look at these 2 examples that really are the big ones everybody has been, the ones that everybody's been pointing to. Let me share my screen here, and so you guys can see what we're talking about here. So this one is the really bad Nationals base running that we saw against the Mets.
Skimmed down to third and trying to advance a Soto, and now he's caught in a run down. Lindor with the toss to Walker, who makes the tag play at second, but Walker throws it into right field. Now trying for third is Bell. The throw by Marte. Lindor tags out Bell. It's a double play. Horrendous base running by the Nationals, and the Mets take advantage to carve out 2 outs.
So there's that one, right? There's the one that everybody has been talking about from the base running perspective. And this one stings because your 2 best players right now that you have on the field, even the pitching department, these have been the Nationals' 2 best players, and they're everyday players. And those guys making those mistakes was just horrible. I mean, Josh Bell going, when he is clearly not 100%, him trying to stretch that and go extra. We've seen it this year. That was really tough to watch. And Soto just kind of staying in the way and complaining to the umpire, really difficult to watch. And then also here is the defensive example. This is the big one, right? This is the one that everybody was talking about from that Marlins game the other night.
The third goes. 1 ball, 1 strike to Soler. Smashed past D. Strange Gordon and into left field. Here comes Jazz, and he gets in. 2 more in to score. Runners are going to move up on the throw. That now gets into center field. In comes Aguilar, and to third goes Soler. And the Marlins get 3 on a ground ball to short that was anything but. Ball, 1 strike to Soler.
You gotta watch this.
Smash.
I mean, like, the initial ball is hard hit. It is a ground ball. It's a very, very hard hit ground ball, right? That's a play that at least if we know if Escobar doesn't get it, then maybe a better shortstop does get it. Somebody else has got to help make the play. And I mean, make the play, get the ball in. But the Nationals can't even do that. And this goes back to an issue that, a lot of people knew that they would be bad, but this is like a whole different level. And there is a quote from Dave Martinez where he says, some of these errors we're making, to be brutally honest, are just kind of lazy mistakes, end quote. And that was before Miami. So I have some thoughts on that. Yeah, I don't think the body language is great. Like, there's not anybody out there who's like, come on, we're professionals. We got to do better than that. And maybe there needs to be. But we knew this team was going to be bad. Like, this team was not supposed to be some great defense, awesome hitting, great pitching team, right? We knew that. And so I think there is a cost being paid for that. Now, this is a whole different level. Like, there is a certain level of, yes, if this was just an average team, if they just played good baseball, average baseball, or a little bit below average baseball, like, this is comically bad. And I encourage you all to go check out the article from Barry, because it's really good. And it kind of talks about this. And the thing about it is, I wish I could sit here and tell you all what the fix was, but besides just play better or just do routine, I mean, what else do you want to say? Like, besides acquire better players, right? Like, I don't think, I'd prefer to see a younger player at shortstop making mistakes as opposed to Alcides Escobar. That's just me. That's where I stand on that. I think Lane Thomas thing out in left field, like, we actually did want to try that. I think a lot of us were in agreement. Like, we wanted to try that out, see how that looks. But look, Yadiel's been so good that they have, they've been splitting reps with him out there in left field, and Lane's been doing some different stuff. It'll be pinch hitting or pitch hitting, whatever it is. He's gotten spotty on the assignments. So, like, that's, not 110% his fault, I guess. Josh Bell has not looked great. They're in part of that's because of the injury. Juan Soto's misplayed some balls out there. Victor Robles, like, while he has excellent range, has made some curious decisions where he's just missing the cutoff guy, stuff like that. And Keibert Ruiz also, like, there's no old catcher to help him out either on this team. And I think a value, I like, once again, like, we're all behind the idea of Riley Adams being there. But at some point, like, there needs to be some guys on this team, especially in the fielding department, who can help them grow in certain ways. Alcides Escobar, like, he can help, but the guys have to be able to still field their positions well. Like, there's a lead behind the scenes and also can lead by example. Like, you need a little bit of both. And Alcides Escobar can't lead by example because he's just not, there's a reason why he was out of the league for a bit. And he had a really nice comeback. It was a really good story, but look, he's not helping out a winning team. I really don't think there's any way you think Alcides Escobar is going to help out a winning team. Maybe somebody else wants him. I don't know, but I don't think that's a guy who's going to be helping out many winning teams. Michael Franco, inconsistent at best over there at third. Keibert Ruiz is young, so we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt over there. Cesar Hernandez, has not been, it's not like he's some stone wall there at second base, although he feels like he's been the most consistent out of all of these guys. So it's been a collective effort, but, I'm wondering, there is just, who's going to take charge? Soto's 23 and he plays right field. It's not like it's some premium defensive position where he can start screaming at guys and telling guys they have to play better on defense. It's not what it is. So, you're just wondering, where is that going to come from for the Nationals? It's a huge question. And I don't bring up this talk of the Nationals are dreadful just to say, hey, they're dreadful. But what are you going to do about it? The base running stuff, those two guys have to clean up. And I think part of that goes to Soto's approach. And also Josh Bell has to press because he knows how bad this offense is. So I think that stuff they could definitely easily clean up. The defensive stuff, the comical errors, sure. But bad defense, I think that might be just who this Nationals team is. I honestly think that. I think that is, probably where this Nats team is right now, just due to the guys they have on this team who are playing right now. All right, quick word from our sponsors, then we'll take a look at the series coming up here between the Nationals and the Brewers. Today's show is brought to you by Built Bar. You guys can go to built.com today. That's built.com. Use the promo code LOCK15, LOCKED15, LOCK15 for 15% off at Built. They've got plenty of flavors of Built Bar, guys. Built Bar is delicious too. I mean, I had one of their birthday cake puff ones this morning for a workout, for a run. Good to go for it. It's fine. It was good. It was high in protein, not too much sugar in it, and I was fine. You know, it tastes just as good as a candy bar. It tastes better than every other Power Bar or Cliff Bar, whatever else is out there, and it's good. It's good for you. Once again, find Built Bars wherever you guys can, mostly at built.com. Promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15 LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com today. All right, so the Nationals, as we do before we preview every single series, we check up on where they are in the standings. The Nationals are 13-26. It's a .333 winning percentage. They're 2.5 games back out of first place. The New York Mets occupy that. They are 5.5 games behind the Phillies, who are in second. They are 5 games behind the Marlins, who are in third. They are games behind the Braves, who are in fourth. The Nationals are 5-15 at home, 8-11 on the road. They have a -45 run differential. The current streak is they've won 1, and they're 3-7 in their last 10. They're playing the Milwaukee Brewers, who have been strong so far this year, 24-14, 12-5 at home, 12-9 away, 7 run differential. The win streak is 1. They're 5 in their last 10 games. This Nationals team, obviously, the one time when you think about the Nationals playing against the Brewers, you think back to the 2019 postseason when the Nationals beat the Brewers 4-3 at home to win the wild card game. And obviously the Nationals went on to win the World Series. The rest is history, as they say. So these two teams, obviously in much different positions. The Brewers have maintained kind of their perch right now, and the Nationals have not. Your game times for East Coast are 8:10, 7:10, and 2:10. So 8:10 on Friday night, 7:10 on Saturday night, and then Sunday 2:10 Eastern time. Nationals will come back home after that, and they have got a 7-game homestand where they'll play the Dodgers and the Rockies. So your pitching matchups. First game is going to be Eric Fetty going up against Eric Lauer, I believe is how it's pronounced, who's been really strong this year. Lauer, 3-1 record with a 2.60 earn on average. Nationals have not gotten a break. They faced a lot of good pitchers recently, and so Lauer had a really strong first month of the season in 21.93 ERA. Gotten rocked a little bit in his outing. 5 innings, 4 runs, 3 homers were given up, and that's a place where you can actually get to Lauer, but he's surrendered 7 home runs across the 6 outings that he's had so far this year. So home runs, you can get to him in that category just a little bit, but Lauer pitched for the Padres back in 18 and 19, just kind of found a home. And it's pitched really well. But last year in 20 starts, 3.19 ERA, and then also this year 2.6. So he's improved, and he's just 26 years old. So the Nationals get a look at him. And on the other side, we mentioned Eric Fetty will be pitching. So Fetty, I always joke, hey, the goal is to get him to be steady Fetty. It feels like it's 1 up, 1 down, step forward, step back. Last time out, 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 1 homer, 3 walks, and 6 Ks, 82 pitches. Did not go long enough to pick up the win, though. That was one of those. That was the Astros game, though, where things really were great. It was great to see a game where the Nationals just did not need the offense to completely, kick ass and take names the entire game. But the good news is Fetty, the 3 starts he's made this month, has a 2.25 earn run average in 16 innings pitched, just allowing 13 hits, only allowing 4 earned runs total, 10 walks. The walks are obviously, a little bit of an issue for him. 5 in that game against the Angels, the 5-4 loss, and then 3 in the game against Houston. But, ground balls for him, especially that Colorado game that they won, fantastic in that department, and a little bit stepped up his K game in the last game. But, we know he's a guy that likes to nibble. We'll see what he's able to do in this game on the road. But you look at for Fetty, look at who he's faced this month. Houston, Los Angeles, Colorado, and now he is going to get – so, shout out to Eric Fetty. Like, he's not getting any easy assignments with these starts, and he's pitched so far so good. Your second game matchup, Brandon Woodruff is going to go up against Corbin. Woodruff so far this year, not repeating what he did last season. We know he's really strong last year and has been a really good career so far. This year, not as good. It's 4-2, so that they're bringing the offense, but a 5.35 earned run average last time out, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned. It was off a homer, 6 Ks. So he is starting to step up his game a little bit more, but still, it's been up and down year for Woodruff so far. Maybe the Nationals can capitalize off that and keep that going. So Woodruff, big name, but quite the performance that we're used to seeing from a guy like that. Patrick Corbin, interesting start last time out. I had mentioned that I didn't hate it. I know it was difficult. I know he's 0-6, the 6.28 ERA. That Houston start, 6 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 3 homers, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. Like, I didn't necessarily think that was all on his account. I didn't think it was all his doing. I don't think he should have come out for that 6th and final inning, the 7th inning, where, he gave up 2 home runs, and I know his pitch count was low. We revisited that when we recapped that series, but I don't think he should have been out there for that last part. And I think that ultimately cost him. So I thought that was a mismanaged moment by Dave Martinez. And I think Corbin, generally speaking, the results earlier in the year to now, it's been a bit more positive for him. Then the final matchup, it's Freddie Peralta, who's 3-1 with a 3.35 ERA this season, going up against Aaron Sanchez. And Peralta has really, after a rough start, has had really 3 quality starts in this last month. 17 2/3 innings worked over the course of last month with just a 2.04 ERA. He has become a lot more consistent. And also in that 17 2/3 innings, 25 Ks on the month. And so he has really upped that and upped his game, trying to do better in that category is Peralta. So he's kind of surging right now, 25-year-old, throwing some of his best ball of the season so far. And this one also lines up. So Aaron Sanchez will be taking the ball 2-3 with a 7.94 ERA. Look, like he's just, I don't know to tell you guys that Aaron Sanchez, he's not very good. And he shouldn't be in the amount of players, the Nationals, who probably shouldn't, this is the team once again. Like, I hate to be that guy. I hate to be kind of rude about it, but 5 days, by hook or by crook, that's kind of, it's just the reality. And look, we've talked about this. A lot of you all have mentioned this in the comments. I mentioned this before this season. The Nationals' failure to get more starting pitching was just that. It was a failure to do so. So I think that is something we have to mention with Aaron Sanchez, and they're having to throw him out every 5 days, but it's not going great. We'll see what he does on Sunday. He's got that series finale, as I mentioned, against Peralta. All right, one more quick break, and then we'll hit on some Cesar Hernandez. A little positivity today on a Friday. Get you all into what should be a really hot weekend here on the East Coast. Today's show is brought to you by BetOnline and BetOnline.net. You guys go there today. When you do, you just sign up. It's free to do. Great interface, easy to navigate. You won't have any problems signing up at all. Then you guys can check out odds for Major League Baseball, for the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, for the golf tournament this weekend at Southern Hills PGA Championship, for NASCAR, for F1, whatever else you guys want. They've got that online and betonline.net today. So go to BetOnline. It's where the game starts. All right. So I want to mention, just shout out Cesar Hernandez because, this was a guy the Nationals bring in and really didn't, what to expect was, okay, veteran presence. He's there. He's 31. But he's been in the league since 2013. So he's been around for a long time. So he is that veteran presence. And really the 21 season for him was rough, but he has been a pretty decent hitter. And this year he's gotten back to that. He's hitting 278. He's got a 328 on base. He's got a positive WAR, which you can't say for a lot of the Nationals players. And it feels like from that leadoff spot, he's just given them, it's given them a bit more, I feel like, than what I expected, at least. I mean, I know once again, like, numbers overall aren't spectacular, but this month he's hitting 278 or 286 rather, with a 375 on base. And that's what you want from your leadoff guy. He's hitting just 13 points higher in the average zone, but that on base has increased to 375. First month on base in 99 ABs was 294. In 63 this month, it's at 375. So he's done a much better job, seeing more pitches. Still, he is more of an aggressive leadoff hitter. It's not a guy who's taking a ton of walks. He only took 2 in the first 99 ABs this season. Is taking more now, but this is a guy that, the Nationals have kind of shown preference towards leadoff hitters, or, leadoff hitters who are aggressive. And look, they've had that with when Alcides Escobar was leading off. They've had that when Kyle Schwarber was leading off. I know Kyle Schwarber can get his walks, but like just as a hitter, they wanted him to be aggressive. That was the message. And he went on a massive tear when he was aggressive. So I think I think Cesar Hernandez has done really well. And look, he's got 5 hits right now in his last 3 games. So he's done well. He hit a triple as well, which means still a little bit of the wheels there. But yeah, I mean, on the season, on total, he's driven in just 8 runs, but he's in that front spot, so it's not going to be a super high run driving in position. I just think we should shout that out, that he's actually been a guy who's been playing well. That's why Matt Weyrich, when he joins us next week, we're going to talk about him and the good situation he's put the Nationals in. I think 2 acquisitions in the infield, while their defense might not be Sterling and Gold Glove level, and Maikel Franco and Cesar Hernandez, if you give the Nationals some options that, look, this thing looks like a AAA team. If they trade those guys, it's going to be full on AAA team, but you might do it because you might get some decent assets back in return. We'll touch on that on Monday, hopefully, when we talk to Matt Weyrich. All right, that will do it for the show today. Also, Lindsey Crosby coming up this weekend. We're going to talk about actually put together a trade package for Juan Soto. Once again, I'm not trying to get him traded, but with the chatter right now, it's a fun topic. The Nationals aren't playing very well, so we'll kind of kick that around and see any team put together actually a package that could get Juan Soto on the move. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at @LO_Nationals. You guys can follow me at @JoshNeighbors_. Find the show wherever it's your podcast and here on YouTube as well. Till next time, my friends, as always, stay safe.